There. Today in our series about generative AI in higher education, we are going to talk about prompting and using AI to effectively use your course syllabus. So my name is Liz Wright, and I am a professor of psychology at Northwest Vista College in San Antonio, Texas. And so today our learning outcomes are going to relate to um, basically creating and using prompts in AI. So we will learn to demonstrate beginning skills to create a good and useful prompt for using generative AI. We're going to demonstrate how to use context, tone, summarize, act as, and format prompt specifiers. We are going to demonstrate how to upload a document and ask AI questions about the document. And then we will be looking at how to make prompts more specific in order to create more useful outputs. So creating a good prompt when using AI can be challenging, but the more you practice, the more you'll be able to do it more quickly. The first thing we want to note is that quote unquote chatting with ChatGPT or any AI is like texting with a friend. The context of the conversation can be maintained. For example, if you write a prompt and the output isn't exactly what you want, you can add to the prompt to tell it more of what you want. You can ask it to make it more specific or more general, and you can keep tweaking your prompts in that conversation until you reach the outcome that you want. Many large language models, such as ChatGPT, will also guide you. They might ask you questions after the output, such as, do you want me to create a document for you with this information? So let's get started in terms of using AI. If you haven't already used a large language model such as ChatGPT, you may feel a little overwhelmed starting with it. So let's get started right off the bat. You want to go to ChatGPT and create a login. You can use your Google account if you already have one, or create a new Google account just for ChatGPT usage if you're concerned about linking your Google history with AI. By creating an account, you can access and continue any previous chats, which can be useful. Once you've created an account, ask ChatGPT what it can do for you. Your prompt can be as simple as, I am a college student. What can AI help me with? Or, I am a college professor. What can AI help me with? Even, I am a high school student, or I am a high school math teacher. Look at the list of things it tells you. Did you realize that AI can do all these things? It can be overwhelming, but also pretty cool, right? One thing to note here, in your prompt, you used context. You provided background information for your large language model to generate applicable outputs. Good prompts will include as much context as possible so that you can get useful outputs. So as a faculty member, it gave me a sectioned list of things it can help me do, such as teaching and course design, research and scholarship, student engagement, administrative tasks, and professional development. It basically took the job description of professor and created a list of tasks it could help with for the typical roles or job duties of a professor. So you can see here, I put in, I'm a college faculty member. How can AI help me? And the output said, a great question. AI can be a powerful assistant for college faculty member like you, both in teaching and in managing your workload. Here are some concrete ways AI can help. So as I said, it listed all of these different categories and some things that they can do or that AI can do to help me with my work. And so I can now ask it some more specific stuff. So at the end, it said, to make this practical, would you like me to show you how AI-powered workflows for a specific area, like grading, lesson planning, or research support? That way I can tailor examples directly to what would save you the most time. So I can now go in and choose something to look at more. It said it can help me generate discussion prompts for my classes. If I don't know how to refine my prompts, I can ask AI to help me refine my questions. I can literally write, how can I make this question more specific? So I'm going to tell it to do that and to give it more specific information. I'd like to focus on creating discussion prompts for my students. This week we are discussing, I'm teaching a fully online social psychology course. This week we are discussing the concepts of the definition of social psychology, hindsight bias, and the differences between social psychology and personality psychology and sociology. Give me 5 potential discussion prompts for an online class where students can have different views and explain their views. Again, I'm adding context. I'm asking it to produce a specific number of things for the output. I could ask for 5, 10, 20 even, but 5 is a good number to start with. You can always ask for more, and it does. So perfect. Discussion prompts work really well online, and it gives me some information or some examples of discussion prompts. At the end, it says, would you like me to also layer in pop culture, current events, or interactive elements like polls, debates, or choose a side discussions so the prompts feel even more engaging to your online students? So it's so helpful. It offers to do extra stuff for me. I really like the idea of adding in pop culture references. So I'm going to do that. If I wanted to use a specific pop culture reference, I could ask it to do that. I could ask it to include current themes or topics that interest my students. For example, add references to Labubus and Pokemon is something that I could add. It also indicated it could add an interactive element to increase discussion. So I wrote, add in, actually, I did add in, please add in pop culture references. So it says, got it, adding in pop culture references. It revised those 5 prompts to add in some pop culture stuff. So this first one looks at comparing The Office with Love is Blind. This one looked at Taylor Swift's surprise album release, movies, TikTok trends, all that sort of stuff. And then at the end, I said, let's add in interactive elements. Now, notice how in modifying a prompt, we don't have to write in a certain way. We don't have to ask nicely. We just tell it what to do. So it says perfect, adding in interactive elements will help them talk to each other. So we've got these interactive elements for the 5. It says, would you like me to reformat these into a ready-to-post discussion board format with clear instructions, word count suggestions, and deadlines, so you could copy them directly into your LMS. If you're a professor, these things are these are the things that will take us the most time, is designing that instruction, those deadlines, all that sort of stuff. So this could be really useful. So now I can tell it that I want to look at a specific one. I like number 2, and then work to make number 2 more useful for me. I don't like the interactive element that it gave me because it makes a student reply to another student's post by changing the subject. I want to continue the academic focus on the original poster. So I'll ask it for another 3 options. Use the terms that it applied, so that interactive element, to tell it which specific part you want it to give more options for or more detailed instructions about. So here I'm providing it with feedback on its outputs. I'm teaching it to do what I want, and it gave me 3 more. And I really like the prediction challenge one. So at the end, it offers to write up the instructions for a discussion, including requirements for grading, and that would be super helpful. Once it did that for me, I could change the wording if I didn't like it, or I could even ask it to change the tone to be more professional, more conversational, more casual, more persuasive. Tone is another specifier. in prompt creation that can be really useful. Could you write maybe one scholarship letter or cover letter and then ask AI to change the tone based upon the scholarship owner or the company that you're applying to? So here we have that information that we were just talking about as we were looking at the chat GPT output. So adding context, refining, choosing options, changing your tone. These are all things that we can do while we are using our large language model. So another thing that we can do is we can actually ask it to answer questions about a document. So now that we've seen what our large language model can do, let's have it do something useful as a college student. Find a syllabus for one of your current classes and make sure you have it either saved as a document to your computer or you have the entire thing copied so that you can paste it into the chat box. So we want to open a new chat and give it context. I'm taking an XYZ class, and here's the syllabus. Summarize the important points for me is a great start. This is one of the amazing things about AI. It can summarize large amounts of information for us. Then we want to copy and paste the syllabus or upload it as a document. So now that your large language model has the syllabus, you can ask it questions such as, what's the late policy? You know those questions you email your professor about? You could actually open up AI, find this conversation, and ask that question there. Let's say you're asking about the late work policy, and the policy says you must request an extension via email. You can now ask AI to create an email to your instructor specifying tone to request an extension for the specific assignment. You can copy and paste the email as it is, or you can use parts of it, or you can edit it. So let's take a look at how that would work. So I'm going to create a new chat and I'm going to put in the prompt that we talked about. So I am taking a social psychology class, and here is the syllabus. Summarize the important points for me. And then I'm going to click this add button, add files. I'm going to find it. Where do I put my syllabi is the greatest question. Uh, It takes a minute to upload and then I send it. So here's a clear summary of the key points from your Psych 2319 social psychology syllabus. Course goals, outcomes, instructor, assignments, major deadlines, course structure, expectations for success, policies, support and resources. In short, this course is writing and discussion heavy with a strong focus on applying social psychology to real-world issues. Keeping up with Canvas, using feedback, and managing deadlines are the biggest keys to success. Would you like me to make a one-page cheat sheet schedule with all the due dates so you don't have to keep flipping through the syllabus? Wow, that would be really useful. Okay, so first thing we want to do though is, as I said, we're going to practice asking it some questions. So what is the late policy? You get 3 total extensions up to 3 days during the semester, You have to request them before the due date via Canvas email, 1 extension per assignment. End of semester assignments, the last week of class cannot be extended. And then there's revisions, and then there's exams, and like I said, that last week rule. So you have a little flexibility, but communication before deadlines is key. So let's ask it. I would like to ask for an extension. On Unit 3, can you create an email to my instructor? I should put the instructor. Using a professional and conversational tone. Polished draft you can send to your instructor. Dear Dr. Wright, I hope you are doing well. I am writing to request a short extension on the Unit 3 assignment. I've been keeping up with the readings and discussions, but I am running a little behind on pulling my work together and want to make sure I can submit a thoughtful and complete assignment. Would it be possible to use one of my 3-day extensions for this assignment? If approved, I'll make sure to have it submitted within that time frame. Thank you for your understanding and for offering us some flexibility in the course. I really appreciate your support you provide to help us succeed. Best regards, and then your name. Okay, that's pretty nice, right? So the next question is, let's think about how could we relate this to the work world? So obviously, we might have to go through a document that is lengthy, and it could be useful to review the main points of that document for work. We want to keep in mind that if the document is an internal document to your company may not want all of that information available to ChatGPT. If you're comfortable with AI having the document, you can ask it questions about the document, which might be useful for understanding certain policies. You can also ask it to explain parts you don't understand. You can ask it to use analogies or other terms to explain a particular thing and put specific sections within quotation marks. You could ask it specific questions as well. How many sick days am I allowed before I need a doctor's note? Let's say someone at work asked us to review a document. You read it and it seems fine, but you're not sure that someone who doesn't do your job or have your expertise would understand it. You can upload the document and ask AI, act as a job seeker. What questions do you have about this job description? Here, we're using the act as prompt. You're asking AI to act as a role, and it's going to put itself in place of that role. What if you uploaded your cover letter for a job application and asked it to ask as a hiring manager and give you feedback about things you could add, delete, or change? Let's talk about some student applications of this. So, can AI help you to get organized? The big answer, the good answer is yes. So you've uploaded your syllabus for a class, and hopefully that syllabus includes the graded assignments and due dates. If not, find the document that includes the graded assignments and due dates and ask AI to prepare a detailed list of the things you need to complete for this week or this month in a checklist format. Here we're using the format prompt specifier. We're telling it what format we want the output to be in. Do we want bullet points? Do we want a checklist? Do we want an outline? Review the output and see what it offers you at the end. Could any of those things be useful for you? If so, let AI know, yes, please make me a daily schedule for study and review. If you don't like the format it has provided for you or the output, give it more context to tell it what would truly be helpful for you. That's one way that you can use AI to be more successful as a student. Shape the output by updating your prompt with your knowledge about the topic or how you personally work best. So let's take a look at how that would work. So we're going to ask it to create a detailed list of the things I need to complete for Unit 1, and format it in a checklist format. Pulled everything from your syllabus for Unit 1, organized it into a checklist for you. So here's your reading materials, and here's your assignments. And then it says, would you like me to build a Unit 2 checklist so you can get ahead, or do you want to just keep making them week by week? Sure, let's build a Unit 2 checklist. And there we go. Now, it can actually make a master checklist of all units so that you'll have the entire semester laid out at once. And then you could potentially print that out and use it as your checklist for the semester. So a lot of times students do this on their own. They created their own checklists through using the syllabus, but now all you have to do is ask your AI to do that for you. And really, if you think about it, what we're doing here is what we think of as project management. So project management involves taking a long-term task and breaking it down into smaller bits. If you think about it, a class is really a long-term project with multiple pieces that need to be organized and scheduled. Using AI can help you to manage projects such as this by breaking them down. If you're working with a team, you can each take parts, or if you're managing a team, you can request people to do certain parts or even assign work. You can create a shared document with due dates for deliverables or things that need to be completed or submitted, and ways people can sign off that they completed them, demonstrating accountability. So what are some takeaways for this part of the module on using AI? So in this section, we learned about prompts, how to make them better by adding context, tone, summarize, as is, or act as, and format directions. We played with AI some by asking it about what it can do for our role, and hopefully that showed us some of the useful things it can help with. We saw how we can give AI a document and what it can do for us with that document. We also saw how it can help us save time by creating lists for us or telling us what needs to be done. What was the most useful or interesting thing for you in this video? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for spending some time with me today, and I will see you with the next video.